FBI Director Kash Patel is testifying right now on Capitol Hill in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senators from both sides are asking sharp questions about his leadership at the agency. Earlier in the session, there was a direct back and forth when he was challenged over his choices to dismiss a number of high-ranking FBI leaders. The senator from New York now has time, Mr. Coleman. Director Patel, does the name of former President Donald Trump show up in the Epstein documents at all? Excuse me, could you repeat that? It's a simple question. Is Donald Trump referenced anywhere in the Epstein files? I wasn't suggesting it was complex. I just didn't catch your words clearly. Sorry about that. We have disclosed the portions involving President Trump in the Epstein records, including other individuals, and all legitimate details we can lawfully share have been made available. Okay, let's break that down. Are you citing court rulings that prevent disclosure of grand jury proceedings under Rule 6E? Is that your basis for what can be released legally? Yes, that's one aspect. Really? And what else do those three specific court orders you referenced actually prevent from being shared? Hello everyone, Sarah here with a key development to share. Let me lay out the story of allegiance, legal safeguards, and the turning point when Donald Trump began viewing a longtime supporter as a potential danger to his own legal standing. Kash Patel stood firmly in Trump's corner for years. He made regular media appearances facing the camera and firmly declaring that Trump broke no rules regarding the classified files taken to Mar-a-Lago. For Trump's legal team, Patel represented a vital figure, the one who could take the witness stand and assure the jury that Trump held an ongoing authority to declassify whatever he wished, that his conduct stayed within legal bounds, and that the entire matter stemmed from partisan attacks. Did you go before the grand jury? Sorry? You did give testimony to that grand jury, right? You indicated that President Trump had declassified the materials key to the Mar-a-Lago classified documents prosecution. Is that right? I don't keep a copy of the grand jury material myself. That's exactly why I pushed for its availability. The document itself is the most reliable source for what was said. You earlier informed Senator Whitehouse that your grand jury session had entered the public domain. That's incorrect. Actually, in July, a judge turned down a request from a news organization to access that transcript. Still, the court made it plain that you can discuss your personal testimony freely, so I'll pose it again. Did you inform the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents tied to the Mar-a-Lago classified materials case? That's precisely the motivation behind my agreement to collaborate with the department and the court to release it. The transcript offers the truest reflection of my statements. What started as Trump's hoped-for strong protection has become a significant liability. After delivering sworn evidence to a federal grand jury, Kash Patel evidently did not reinforce the ex-president's stance. All available signs lead that way. We'll step away briefly and come back with the latest updates. Reliable sources now report that FBI Director Kash Patel might leave his post sometime in the near future. 3 people aware of the conversations say President Trump and key staff members have grown increasingly irritated with Patel over recent unfavorable media coverage connected to him, including accounts of him using a government plane for private trips to visit a partner and assigning SWAT members to serve as her protection team. Officials at the Justice Department, Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche, have apparently been displeased with Patel for quite a while, though they've denied it publicly when similar stories surfaced. The dissatisfaction now appears to reach into the White House as well. Curiously, this visible tension could temporarily bolster his standing in the job. The situation is still unclear, but that's the picture emerging at this moment. FBI Director Kash Patel, who remains highly engaged and has handled many duties effectively. Thank you, Director. He did not validate the declassification account. He gave no supportive explanation for Trump to lean on. Instead, it looks like the opposite occurred. Accounts indicate Trump has responded with considerable outrage, venting strongly to those around him, since he grasps exactly what Patel stated under oath. He sees that a once reliable associate has given prosecutors potentially game-changing information toward a guilty verdict, with few options left to counter it. To understand the situation fully, it's useful to review the timeline because the order of events is essential. The Justice Department was looking into the management of classified materials at Mar-a-Lago. They subpoenaed Kash Patel for grand jury appearance. Patel previously acted as Trump's chief of staff at the Defense Department and stayed closely involved during the relevant time frame with the documents. Prosecutors wanted clarity on how the records reached the Florida estate, whether Trump's declassification statements held up, and how his associates dealt with requests to return the items. Patel had first-hand awareness of these issues. On his initial appearance, Patel chose a course that temporarily protected both himself and Trump. He invoked his Fifth Amendment right and refused to answer. This safeguard prevents self-incrimination, and Patel apparently felt that candid replies might expose him to charges. Staying silent blocked prosecutors from gaining his direct insights or using them against Trump. It served as a solid defense. Then came November 2022. The Justice Department petitioned U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell for a critical measure: confer use immunity on Kash Patel. With use immunity, statements he makes under compulsion cannot support charges against him, removing his Fifth Amendment option since his words can no longer incriminate him. The judge signed off on it. Patel was required to testify completely, and the situation changed sharply. Trump's planned legal approach started to weaken. What specifics did Patel address in his testimony? The full record stays confidential under grand jury rules, but the immunity's purpose shows what prosecutors targeted. They pursued sworn details on the practical movement of documents to Mar-a-Lago, who packed them, who moved them, and their storage locations there. They examined the truthfulness of public remarks by Trump and Patel about declassification. Was there really a broad standing order? Did proper declassification processes occur? They also looked at responses to National Archives demands and the DOJ subpoena. Were all items handed over, or were some hidden or shifted to avoid detection? Patel responded to these under oath, protected personally by immunity, yet required to speak truthfully. This aspect has apparently pushed Trump toward major frustration. Before immunity, Patel acted as one of Trump's strongest on-camera backers. He often asserted that Trump carried standing authority to declassify White House materials he removed, that extensive groups had been declassified, and that keeping everything at Mar-a-Lago followed the law completely. Those public comments built a helpful framework for the trial defense. But once under oath, facing strict consequences for untruths, Patel could not stick to general statements. Prosecutors asked for exact details. What process controlled declassification? Which rules were applied? What paperwork proves declassification occurred? Who got informed and when? Such questions demand precise answers, not vague ones. Without those elements, no process is followed, no records made, no notices sent. The declassification claim falls apart. Veteran former prosecutors have outlined the department's method plainly. It went past collecting information from Patel. The plan compelled him, through sworn obligation, to either retract or weaken his prior public positions. They sought confirmation that his media remarks went too far or lacked basis, that no real standing declassification order existed, and that necessary steps were skipped, each element chipping away at Trump's main courtroom argument. Developments since then point clearly to that result. Look at Director Patel's conduct in his 2025 FBI director confirmation hearing. Senators confronted him about his grand jury evidence, asking what he told investigators and if it matched or contradicted Trump's declassification view. Patel seemed uneasy. He sidestepped specifics, pointing to grand jury secrecy as the reason he could not elaborate on his own statements. However, those secrecy rules protect the probe, not the testifier. Witnesses usually can speak about their personal testimony. Patel's use of that rule implies an attempt to avoid disclosing damaging material about Trump. He repeatedly offered, unprompted, that he committed no offenses, a habit often seen as signaling concern over consequences. He claimed partial memory loss on parts of his testimony. That seems questionable, considering how recent and important the topics were. Key sworn accounts generally stay vivid unless someone chooses not to share them. What impact does this have on former President Trump? It removes a major expected defense witness from play. Trump cannot risk putting Patel on the stand to confirm declassification, as prosecutors hold the immunized grand jury record. They know his sworn version fully. If it differs from his earlier public remarks, if it shows no proper declassification took place, prosecutors will use those prior statements against him in cross-examination. They will undermine his trustworthiness, showing the jury one supportive public version for Trump and a truthful sworn version later. This badly hurts Patel's value as a witness and reveals Trump's stance as built rather than real. It goes deeper. Prosecutors can call Patel as their own witness. They can make him testify at trial in line with his immunized grand jury account. If he tries to adjust his story to benefit Trump, the department can present the transcript to expose contradictions, offering strong proof of perjury to defend the accused. Patel then turns unusable for the defense, but highly valuable for the prosecution. This matches a wider Justice Department pattern. They have consistently used immunity to gain testimony from former Trump associates. They gave it to Allen Weisselberg, requiring evidence on Trump Organization finances. They applied it to some Trump lawyers, forcing details on advice under the crime fraud rule. They used it on Mar-a-Lago workers, compelling descriptions of document practices. With Kash Patel now, they focused on the person most able to answer the core issue in the classified documents case. Did actual declassification happen? Patel had unique knowledge. He was deeply involved. He witnessed the documents move to Mar-a-Lago directly. He knew whether public claims aligned with facts. He understood subpoena handling and any concealment efforts. He made the perfect prosecution resource, and the department used immunity to make him one. Trump has no practical way to prevent this. Immunized testimony stands in criminal cases despite privilege claims. Pressure means little when the witness risks nothing personally. Media narratives weaken against fixed, sworn words. The ex-president watches as a former ally's statements erode his legal foundation. Declassification offered Trump's best potential defense path. If he could persuade jurors he honestly considered the materials declassified via standing order without criminal intent, doubt might arise. Patel's forced testimony breaks that down. If he swore no standing order existed, steps were ignored, and public claims failed scrutiny, jurors get that from someone close to Trump with full motive to protect him, yet compelled by oath and immunity to tell it straight. That proves powerful. Obstruction claims grow even tougher. If Patel described moving, hiding, or partial returns of documents amid official requests, that gives clear evidence of purposeful action. It shows knowledge of illegality and attempts to block recovery, points prosecutors will stress to the jury. This accounts for the reported level of Trump's response, the irritation aimed at staff, heated reactions, accusations of disloyalty against Patel. Patel went beyond showing up. He answered truthfully when required. Those truthful answers hit the core issues. They show the declassification story held no weight. They affirm intentional keeping of classified records. They expose organized pushback against returns. That truth now sits in secure, sworn record form, set for trial use. To wrap up, Kash Patel started as Trump's top public supporter on television. He was the witness set to strengthen the defense strongly. Now he positions as the one prosecutors can call to help prove guilt. That's the strength of use immunity. That's how effectively the Justice Department implemented its approach. They pinpointed a central insider, lifted his Fifth Amendment shield, demanded complete sworn testimony, and secured what was needed to break down the chief defense. Patel's statements now sit as fixed evidence. They will appear in court. The jury will hear them firsthand. And Donald Trump, the leader who long believed he could steer those nearby and that loyalty would always win, is facing a harsh truth. When testimony arrives under oath with immunity support, loyalty carries no influence.